Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shrikar Patil from Symposium VIIT. I welcome you all to our first episode of a brand new season of Sim Meet Season 3. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our guest today. Our guest is a management graduate from ISB Hyderabad and Fuqua Duke University. Began a career in finance before establishing V Resorts as a first venture outside of finance in 2014. Her contribution to V Resorts has been all encompassing. Our guest, currently heading a company in this space, firmly believes this to be the future of women in the country and also encourages them to tap their potential, leading to an accelerated growth. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our guest today, Ms. Aditi Balve.
Hi, thank you so much.
Hello, ma'am. I hope you're doing well.
Very good, thank you.
So, what was the driving force that led you to start V Resource and become an entrepreneur?
So actually, I didn't really want to be an entrepreneur. I was working for a venture fund. And what happened was that the promoters who had started V Resorts, they decided to quit the company. And we had already given them our first round of capital. So I decided to step in, and instead of being on the venture side, I decided to become an entrepreneur and lead the company, run the company. Also, I understood this space because I am a very avid traveler. So I thought that it's a good idea to try and build a business in a space that I love, right? So that's where I became an entrepreneur. And honestly speaking, V Resorts, the idea of the whole company was that very quickly we believed that people will start looking at different sorts of accommodations for their travel needs. So way back, 10 years ago, if you look at the space, it was dominated by the 5 stars. And then the 4 stars came and disrupted it. So we had models like Ginger, like Lemon Tree, coming and completely disrupting this space, right? And you've seen how well Lemon Tree has done. So, they were very solid models. And then in 2014, we believed that the domestic travel market is going to shoot up like crazy. This is because this whole trend of wanting quick, frequent breaks, just like it happens in the West. In the West, any long holiday, you plan a weekend out. So just like that, we thought that the Indians will also pick up, primarily because a whole lot of people were studying abroad. They already knew the trend that would exist abroad, especially in the South, in Bangalore, Hyderabad. This trend was actually emerging. So we believe that when you're looking for short breaks, weekend breaks, you're obviously not going to look for a 4-star every time, primarily because you cannot afford it, right? So we believe that the needs of the customer will change very quickly towards small boutique properties, offbeat places, and everything will basically be related to or will revolve around social media. So what is your need in social media? Oh, I've gone to this amazing place. Oh, this is so picturesque. Oh, I've met the local community. I've done something a while on my trip. I tried paragliding. I went to a village and had lunch with the villagers. So anything that gave that whole aha moment, which we now call as experiential travel, that would begin to emerge. And we believed that this would happen in 2011 when we started the resorts. And by 2014, the trend was quite strong. People were taking these breaks in any case. And now, of course, you can see COVID happens or doesn't happen. As soon as the lockdown opens, you are seeing the rush to Himachal, and you're seeing the there's a crazy viral video of these maybe about 100 odd men and women actually in Kempty Falls in Mussoorie, and they're all unmasked and they're all enjoying themselves. So this trend we already thought would happen, and that's why we started V Resorts, that we would be able to standardize and consolidate this small boutique market segment.
Okay, that's nice. So, what inspired you to start a business in the sustainable tourism industry?
So that also very interesting because what happened was that the way it began was, that V Resorts had to become sustainable. Actually, I don't even call it sustainable. V Resorts actually had to develop a model that existed around local communities, primarily because there were a lot of things in our resort that could not have happened if we had not used the local community. For example, a small boutique property in an offbeat place, if you send somebody from an IHM, a graduate from hospitality, so he's not going to stick around very long. He'll stay maybe month to month. He'll get frustrated. He'll move on because the occupancies are not high enough to justify. Firstly, not high enough to justify that salary level, and secondly, not high enough to keep that person intrigued and interested in running a 12-room resort, right? So we had to figure out a model that used local people, where the resort managers were local, where they would be very happy coming to a place, running it for the entire day, and then going back home to their family. So where they had income options also, they would, otherwise what are the income options in these small hamlets? Hardly any options. So we created employment options for them. And at the same time, we were able to create a model which was actually taking resources from the local community. So that's how the work started. And when we started working with United Nations, in fact, we met people who sort of guided us towards this whole thing. They explained to us that, this is the model. And that's when we sort of became passionate about sustainability. We became very happy with it. And, we were like, okay, this is going to be the future. Now my next venture is all about ecotourism. Now my problem is that, see, every property that you go to says that I'm an eco-friendly. What do you mean by eco-friendly? What is the parameter? Who's judging you whether you're eco-friendly? So now I'm basically trying to make a platform that standardizes the concept of eco-friendliness, that can map out the impact that you create at the local level, and by doing that create a transparency for the consumer. कि वो एक छोटी प्रॉपर्टी में जा रहा है, वो भी इको फ्रेंडली बोल रहे हैं, बट उनकी रेटिंग में भी से 8 on 10. अगर आप ट्रूली कॉन्शियस कस्टमर हो, जो कि अगर आप आज नहीं हो तो आप नेक्स्ट 5 साल में आपको बनना पड़ेगा, कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है. So when that happens, you will look for those properties and you will want those properties which are eco-friendly and where the rating is clear, where it is transparent, more clear, it is more transparent. So that is the business that I'm working on now.
Okay. So in the pandemic, obviously the tourism industry faced a lot of challenges. So how you are
Yes.
coping up with challenge due to the pandemic?
Nothing. We did what everybody else did. We shut down our properties in the first round. When the first phase happened, we shut down our properties. We didn't know what to do. We had to wait for the lockdown to open. So it went through whatever it goes through in every hospitality company went through the same challenges. But the good thing for me was probably that I had a very I had already had my exit. So for me, it was more about downtime, thinking about what I want to do next, And when this pandemic hit, I had just launched my beta version of the website. And I just figured that, okay, that means that I can launch my full-fledged version. So I just worked on that. And I worked on the tech and I just launched my full-fledged version just a couple of days ago. So it, again, time management, use your time properly. You can do a whole lot. I mean, especially when you're working on a day-to-day basis and building a company, you don't have time to do all those things, you don't have time to think. So people could have, done lots of interesting business models came up, right? Some OTAs were selling room nights in advance. They were generating so much book value because they had sold so many room nights in advance. So a lot of interesting models came out of this whole scenario. But what is the most amazing learning was that Indians were very resilient, and the minute that the lockdown opened, the travel really, it just started heating up and it started happening. So the domestic traveler, like I said, which I always say, that हमें तो foreign traveler की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, because a lot of our entire income is managed by the domestic traveler, who is very strong and he's traveling. So.
Okay, so do you believe traveling can change a person?
I believe it can change a person, and I believe it will change the world. So it can change a person because it changed. Yeah, in fact, it's as important right now, especially for the millennials, who I love, by the way, because they are our biggest proponents. For them, you see, travel is more. It's like eating. It's like your daily. It's like a need. It is not discretionary. जो पहले हमारे पेरेंट्स सोचते थे एक ट्रिप पूरे साल में लेंगे 10 दिन के लिए कहीं चले जाएंगे. So it's not like that anymore. The pressures are increasing so much. So you see that people are more willing to take these quick breaks. Everybody wants to go somewhere. People are so excited to explore new places. So, I think all these things sort of contribute to a person, because एक्चुअली आप जब अपने घरों में, एंड हम तो अभी और भी ज्यादा वो हो रहे हैं, आइसोलेट हो रहे हैं ना, our need to connect with people is becoming higher and higher, and that need can happen with travel, because travel you don't need to be friends. Even if you travel solo, you'll meet 20 new people, and it's amazing. And you connect with local people, you see how they live. We think Indian villages are dirty. Let me tell you, it's the cities which are dirty. Indian villages are not dirty. They are actually very clean. They maintain, and they are very particular about the way that they maintain the hygiene. It's not that they have no idea. पीकते हैं सब जगह, वो cities में होता है. सारी frustration cities में होती है, और सारी beauty बाहर होती है. So forget about changing the person. It is going to change the world, because it is the one way to ensure that the income reaches a local level without any intervention of a private player, without intervention of any government program. It is direct income going to that local level, and you don't have to do anything. वो economics इतनी beautifully काम करते हैं. So it is something which can alleviate poverty. It can alleviate hunger. It can actually, like I say, it can meet all 17 sustainable development goals of the United Nations. It is that powerful. And basically, this is my life's work. So this is what I'm working on also.
Okay, so entrepreneurship is generally about risk taking. So can you share some of your risks which you experienced during the building of?
See, I didn't take much risk, yeah, because it's risky when you leave your high-paying job and you go to another job, and then you have to start from scratch. I mean, sorry, not job. You go to another venture, and you're starting from scratch, right? But in my case, I always was venture funded. If the company had money, even when I stepped into the company, then we raised money. So risk ऐसा कोई इतना खास नहीं, मतलब risk was just like COVID is a risk. COVID was the big risk, right? But in terms of risk taking, that wasn't so much of a risk. So even now, that's why entrepreneurs come here, na? Because people who take that risk are the guys who know that my networks are so strong that if I don't make it here, I always have a plan B. So I'm very comfortable. So it's not so much about risk taking. Yeah, real risk taking के लिए देखने के लिए, you should go to to the villagers. You should see how the women hustle there, what they will do to make sure that they have a second source of income. वो होती है risk taking ability. So in the truest sense of the word, the startup thing may not be too much of a risk. The risk comes in decisions, big decisions like to scale or not to scale, to go to a new geography or not to go to a new geography. Those are risks. And whether they play out or not is dependent upon your own acumen and your luck.
So this means your time management skills have helped you a lot in building everything.
Yes. But how I learned them and how I can help somebody learn them is very difficult to explain because I don't have a method to the madness. I somehow managed to pretty much do everything.
So were there any challenges from switching a career in finance to a career in from becoming an entrepreneurship?
No, yeah, because finance is key skill. In fact, it is. If you look at the challenges that startup founders face, those who are not from the IIM Ahmedabad and all, right? So उनको यही तो challenges होते हैं: how to manage your money, how to deploy it efficiently, how to manage cash, what is the cash cycle, how to ensure that cash doesn't get disrupted, there's enough cash in the pipeline. वो सारी चीजें तो हम सीख कर ही आए थे. So for me, that is a key skill actually in business, and it is something which a lot of the other founders don't have. So for me, I thought it was pretty complementary. But finance as a vertical, honestly, is very, very boring, at least for me. So for me, this was like a whole new world. It was not just that boring stuff, Excel for better or pura than. It was more about actually creating things on the ground. That is very exciting.
So I'm really grateful for interviewing you today. Thank you, ma'am, for your time. I enjoyed learning more about how we can expose ourselves to enthusiasm we have with it. I'm truly overwhelmed by your unique vision and attaining to sustainability. I once again thank you, ma'am. Wishing you a good day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.